How can a developer applying for a subdivision consent be confident the Independent Hearings Commissioner does not have an investment in a competing subdivision when the Prime Minister couldn't trust his own Transport Minister to declare shares in Auckland Airport when declining airport authority status to the North Shore Aerodrome?
How can a humble pub owner applying for a liquor licence under the Sale and Supply of Alcohol Act be sure that the District Licensing Committee members haven't invested in a competing pub when the Prime Minister couldn't trust his own Transport Minister to declare shares in Auckland Airport when declining airport authority status to the North Shore Aerodrome?
How can miners applying for mining permits under the Crown Minerals Act be confident that the responsible minister hasn't invested in a competing mine when the Prime Minister couldn't trust his own Transport Minister to declare shares in Auckland Airport when declining airport authority status to the North Shore Aerodrome?
How can he be confident that nobody approving or declining Callaghan Innovation Grants has an undisclosed share in the applicant or their competitors when the Prime Minister couldn't trust his own Transport Minister to declare shares in Auckland Airport when declining airport authority status to the North Shore Aerodrome?
How can people dealing with oranga tamariki be confident with OT staff making decisions to put children in foster families' care don't have undisclosed interests in the adopting families when the Prime Minister couldn't trust his own Transport Minister to declare shares in Auckland Airport when declining airport authority status to the North Shore Aerodrome?
How can overseas investors be confident that nobody in the Overseas Investment Office making decisions about their application has shares in land or companies affected by the investment when the Prime Minister couldn't trust his own Transport Minister to declare shares in Auckland Airport when declining airport authority status to the North Shore Aerodrome?
My question is to the Prime Minister and reads, is he confident that officials and ministers are making decisions transparently and impartially?
Mr Speaker.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Broadly, yes. And those decisions is a core feature of New Zealand's government and one of the main reasons New Zealand's renowned for transparency, good governance and ease of business.
So I have never in my time in Parliament seen a Prime Minister so lost, so discombobulated by the events at a time when we all want the Prime Minister to be outlining how his government is going to deal with the cost of living crisis in this country. Currently, under this government, the number one and only priority is to reduce the prison population. Irrespective of what happens in the community, just throw them out and somehow we're all going to be safer. Well, that hasn't worked. Instead of focusing on actually delivering decent outcomes in health and education, where we're seeing half the kids aren't at school, where we're seeing dropping off actual developments in reading and writing, and in turn in health where we're longer waiting lists for everything that you look at in health. Instead of making any progress on that, what do we hear the Prime Minister talking about? We have the Prime Minister trying to explain why a senior minister in his government was asked not once, not twice, not thrice, but 12 times by the Cabinet Office to sell his shares in a company, Auckland International Airport, that he, as Minister of Transport, was clearly conflicted over. 12 times he asked, and 12 times the Minister didn't get round to it. I've never seen a Prime Minister look so lost, so confused, so weak and so helpless. If he stated to the Cabinet Office that he was going to sell his shares in Auckland Airport, why didn't he sell them?
Mr Speaker, I commenced the process of selling those shares in early 2022. I regret that I did not complete it. That is an issue that I am focused on fixing now.
Does he acknowledge that for a minister not to do something he has told the Cabinet Office he will do once is a mistake, but to do it twice as Minister for Auckland and another 10 times before can only be either deliberate concealment or rank incompetence? And if so, which one is it?
Mr Speaker, the member's assertion is wrong. I only became the Minister for Auckland in February of this year.
Does he agree with the characterisation of his performance over the shares in the Post this morning as, quote, creeping incompetence?
Mr Speaker, I agree that I should have sold the shares more quickly than I did. I deeply regret that I did not. My focus now is on fixing that issue.